Let me tell you one thing. It is 6:19 right now, and the sun is still out. Look at that. Unreal. Daylight savings time, I love you. But where am I going right now as I proceed through the ceiling? I'm going up into the attic. So why am I up here in the attic? The attic has become a place where I can stash a couple extra parts here and there, keep them out of the way, spare parts. For 3000 GT, spare parts are getting harder and harder to come across, so I keep more and more so that when stuff does break or just due to age gets old in my car, there's a good chance I have a spare part, trim panels, anything. So the reason that I'm up here is to get a Sparco steering wheel hub. Shout out to my coworker Jesse Collins for grabbing this. He was actually at the junkyard, ironically, and there was a 3000 GT there, just like every other junkyard. And it had a Momo wheel, Sparco hub, so he grabbed the Momo wheel for his 240, and he grabbed this Sparco hub for me. What I have in the car right now is a eBay Boss hub. I'm not too crazy. I don't like the way it really looks, the accordion style, and I would much rather have this Sparco piece in the car. So what I'm going to do for today's video is show you guys how to swap the wheel out in a 3000 GT. I mean, it kind of goes universally for a lot of different cars. But what I'm going to show you first is the stock steering wheel. Here's the stock steering wheel for my 3000. It featured cruise control on the side here, the horn buttons at each corner, big bulky airbag. And mine was a base model originally, so it didn't have any of the stereo controls here. Now on the back side, here's that cruise control knob. Here's the back of the steering wheel here. So how to take it off ultimately was to take the airbag out of the steering wheel. Taking the airbag out of the steering wheel was done by removing these 4 nuts, and ultimately the airbag would just lift off. Behind that there was a wire harness that would unplug from the airbag, which you then unplug and take the airbag out. What that gave you was the inside of the steering wheel and what ultimately would look like the inside of this hub. There was a nut, and you can see the shaft for the steering shaft and the spline part that held your steering wheel onto the steering shaft. So then all you do is simply remove the nut, pop your steering wheel off, slide this on, and tighten it down. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to my car now, and we're going to pull the eBay Boss hub off and put this Sparco one on. So you'll pretty much see how it gets done, even though I'm not removing a factory steering wheel this time. Things we're going to need for this install are a 17mm socket. I have a breaker bar on here, Allen head key set to pull the aftermarket grip oil steering wheel off the car, and the hub itself. Now, one thing I would recommend before doing this job is be very careful when you're turning the wheel and putting the new adapter on. It may throw off your steering wheel being straight, and you want to make sure you keep track of that. I, however, will be taking the car to get aligned probably the next time it's actually on the road. So I'm not as concerned about it, but I am definitely going to be careful that I put the adapter on straight with the steering wheel as much as I can. Okay, so first off, what we're going to do is take our Allen head, and I'm going to straighten my wheel as much as possible here. Figure out which one is the correct size, and then start taking my steering wheel off. Now before I take it off completely, I'm just going to get these loose a little bit. I'm going to break the nut off while I can still grab the steering wheel. This will allow me to hopefully not allow the wheel to turn much when I loosen it. There you go. we have the nut, and then we have the lock washer. Both you would see if you pull off your factory steering wheel. Alright. So the next part is I'm going to pull the steering wheel, wiggle it off of the shaft. And I'm also trying not to turn it, but I can see it coming off. It's almost there. There it is. One thing I didn't like about the Boss Hub is this accordion style look that it has compared to the Sparco. I just like the way the Sparco looks much better. It's a much cleaner look and less cheap look, in my opinion. So I'm going to continue to take the steering wheel off of the Boss Hub. Okay, so I now put the Sparco hub on. I found a good orientation for where the steering wheel will still be pretty close to straight, not perfectly with it on. So I'm going to thread the steering wheel. Gonna lock washer first, and then the nut on there. This Sparco hub has a tap for the horn. This car doesn't have horns right now, so I'm not really too concerned about that. I'll just let that stay inside once it's on. And since it's splined and the steering wheel is where I want it to be, I don't have to worry about as much as it turning. As we turn the breaker bar, it'll continue to press on. Now, a concern of mine that I might run into is, just as I thought, the hub seems to be rubbing on the cover for the column. So that's something I might have to widen the hole for the cover. Because we are just spinning and spinning away and tightening it up more and more. So there it is. It's on right now, but the issue that I'm having is that it's hitting the column cover. Now I'm not going to get rid of the column cover, so what I'm going to do now is trace an outline of the adapter, and then I'm going to trim the column cover to clear the adapter, because the adapter has a wider base than the Boss one did. Now, the one thing I must say, I mean, it is now pretty tight on there. I haven't torqued it yet with the torque wrench, but the one thing I'm noticing that it doesn't do that the eBay adapter did do was shake. So before, I could take the wheel and it would have like a back-to-back like kind of shimmy. And with the Sparco hub, it doesn't do that at all. It's tight, and it's tight on there and not going anywhere. So that's good. Go with red. I'm going to outline it anyway. Won't hurt. I traced an outline, and you can kind of see it there, and you can see where the steering wheel from turning it was scratching, and that pretty much gives me a good indication to where I have to cut and just make this hole a little bit bigger in order to clear the Sparco hub. Overall, pretty straightforward. The car now has a Sparco steering wheel adapter hub, grip royal wheel, and it goes great with my Sparco 3-point red harness and Sparco R100 seat. Alright guys, once again, thank you for tuning in. That's all we have for today. Like, subscribe. Like I said, you know, drop a comment. Let me know what you guys want to see. We'll try and make it happen. And, you know, once the weather gets warmer, we'll do more stuff outside, which will probably be more entertaining. But for now, we're probably going to stick to doing some like little tech write-ups and things like that. But thanks for tuning in. And as always, we'll see you guys next time.